Hi, I'm Magic Ben, and I have here with me my friend Liz, and Liz's husband Ken is on the camera. Now, Liz, we haven't prearranged anything. You don't know what you're about to see. This is being filmed live, single continuous shot. But I'm actually going to teach this trick to you. This trick is called this performance is called the Story of Henry. And I have here with me just a set of cards, and I'm going to have you just give these a mix. Okay, good. Okay, good. And now this trick is called the Story of Henry, because I'm going to just start with a card here, and let me see. In a sense, what card would be good? Okay, let's start with this card. So now the king. There's 4 kings in the deck of cards, and the King of Spades we're gonna say is Henry the III. Mm-hmm. That's why it's called this performance is called the Story of Henry. Mm-hmm. So we start with Henry. Henry the III is actually a real king in England, and he reigns from like 1216 to 1272. Like he's an actual king of England. So we start our story with Henry, he's actually he's reading the book of, now all of the jacks in a deck of cards represent they're like king and queen and jack, right? They're basically like bowers and in history. By some accounts, they actually are. They represent certain sort of knights, right? So we start with Hector. Mm-hmm. So King Henry III is reading about Hector in the Illiad, written by Homer, and the Illiad is actually it's an epic poem. It's actually a really huge epic poem. And it's about the last days of the Trojan Wars, where the Greece is against the Trojans. But anyway, by some accounts, the Jack of Diamonds actually represents Hector from the Iliad. So King Henry III, he's reading about Hector, and afterwards, he's done reading and he gets hungry, so he decides to eat at a club. So he ate at a club. Mm-hmm. And he eats at a place called the Decade Spade. So he eats at this place called the Decade Spade, so the story continues. He eats at the Decade Spade, and there he meets his son, another king, the King of Hearts, and this was also a king of England. So the King of England is. He's actually, Edward is the follow-on king from King Henry. The third is King Edward, is his son. So we continue that they're at this bar called the Decade Spade, and he meets his son there, King Edward I is reading about the Arthurian tales, La Morte d'Arthur, and he's reading about Lancelot. Lancelot is, of course, one of the Knights of the Round Table, and he as one of the Knights of the Round Table, he actually is going on his, they're going on the quest for the Holy Grail, and he's reading about his seventh crusade, looking for the Holy Grail. And he is, of course, what's famous in the stories about Lancelot is that he falls in love with Guinevere, which is King Arthur's wife. And that actually, that separates and causes a civil war, and causes Camelot to fall, actually. So in the story, Lancelot, he's got a ton of heart. He's got a ton of heart. He falls for Guinevere, and as a result, Camelot ultimately causes the downfall of Camelot. But anyway, this is the story about Henry III and Edward I. King Henry III says to his son, King Edward I, "You know what, son? You are a diamond in the rough." So you're a diamond in the rough. Okay, so they're done, and at the end, they pay with the 4 of spades. So this is the story. You shuffle the cards. We have a story of King Henry III, the King of England, who was reading about Hector. He was hungry and ate at a club called the Decade Spade, where he met his son Edward I. He was reading about Lancelot in his adventure of the Seventh Spade Crusade. And Lancelot had a ton of heart as he falls in love with his wife Guinevere. And Henry says to his son, "Son, you're a diamond in the rough." Done eating, they paid for a spade as they left.
Cool.
So, okay. So I hope you enjoyed that trick. This is really a trick about sort of history and just a story with cards. Cards can be more than just a value and a card. You can be creative and put stuff together to a story. What'd you think?
It's
It's an interesting story. Now there's a couple ways to do this trick, and I encourage you to make up your own stories. It took me a while to think of what just using like cards. How can you make them interesting? There are actually people associated with each of the 4 jacks, for example. So I had to look that up. These are made up, though. I mean, these aren't. I think the kings are associated with certain kings. I just picked 2 random kings in history. The pun with a diamond in the rough, that was an epiphany, and so was the name of the club being the Decade Spade. And so it took maybe a week to think about this, but give it some thought, and you can come up with an interesting and entertaining.
So you made up your own story?
I made up my own story. This is a totally made up thing I made up. But I'm going to teach this trick to you, and there's a couple ways you can do this trick. I'm going to teach you the simplest way. And by the way, my channel isn't necessarily about teaching magic tricks, but I do recognize, there are people like to learn and stay on my channel. I'll teach you lots of things, I'm going to teach you 2 tools with this. So, but I love the people who just enjoy magic just for entertainment purposes, and if you're one of those, I live for you. So you can stop the video here and you've enjoyed a magic performance. If you're interested in staying on, hang on, and I'll teach you how this trick is done. I'm going to teach a couple ways how this trick is done. Okay. So with that said, there's a couple ways to do this trick. I'm going to teach the simpler way to do this trick. Of course, the cards have to be in this particular order, and you'll notice when I turned over the cards, they were exactly in that order that they came up. I mean, you shuffled the cards. So one way to do this trick is you can cut the deck as much as you want, and they'll still be in the sequence, just out of order, right? So if no matter where I cut this, wherever I cut this, they'll still be in the sequence. It's just that you need to know if, for example, you peek at the bottom. I know that I'm 3 cards off from the top. So if I then just move this up to the top, I know that I'll start with the King of Spades, and the next one, from the King of Spades is the Jack of Diamonds, the 8 of Clubs, the 10 of Spades, the King of Hearts, the Jack of Diamonds, or should have been the Jack of Clubs, the Seven of Spades, the Ten of Hearts. It should be the Ten of Hearts. The Ten of Hearts, the Ace of Spades, and the Four of Spades. So this is how the sequence should go. And I have that sequence down so because of the story. Right? So if everything's in sequence right, I'll know it's I'll do it again. The King of Spades, the Jack of Diamonds, the Eight of Clubs, the Ten of Spades, the King of Hearts, the Jack of Clubs, the Seven of Spades, the Ten of Hearts, the Ace of Diamonds, and the Four of Spades. Okay, so now. You don't have to memorize the sequence, but it helps because you're telling a story, and you want these particular characters and these particular things to follow this flow.
To sort of say it before you put
more
the card
magical
down.
to say it before the card. Yeah, you can kind of say it as a reminder if you forget. Like, oh, what was the next part of the story? Like you can just flip it over, and it won't be that. I don't think it'll be that bad. Okay, so one way to do this is I can say, all right, what I'm going to do is. I'm going to kind of, now that we've kind of cut the cards a bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to either deal or say swap. Okay, so I could deal or swap or deal or swap, okay? And I'm going to have you tell me, would you like me to deal this card or swap this card?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So deal.
All right, deal.
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 Not very creative, are you? Okay. Not feeling the want to be the same. Okay, but anyway, it doesn't matter whether you like when you're performing it. This is one way to do it, because when you deal a card or swap a card, it's kind of the same thing. Okay, so and what I mean by that is if I take these two cards and I swap them, okay, it's like dealing them twice. So if you pay attention to this top card, if I were to swap these two cards like this, it would be the equivalent of dealing the two cards down. See? So all I've done is essentially dealt them like this, right? So now, if I've tracked this right, if I do this twice, you have to do this sort of in order. The King of Spades should be on top, so it should be the King of Spades, the Jack of Diamonds, the Eight of Clubs, the Ten of Spades, the King of Hearts, the Jack of Clubs, the Seven of Spades, the Ten of Hearts, the Ace of Diamonds, a diamond and a rough, and Four of Diamonds. Okay, Four of Spades. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, the way I did it, was you can allow them to shuffle the cards. Okay. And I've just put little sort of pencil marks. They're going to be very hard to see on the camera, but I put little pencil marks on the back of the cards, so I know even after the cards are shuffled. Now this is a little bit harder because you have to do a little bit of talking. This is the story of. So you can see, maybe you can see it on the camera. So we'll just look at one card here. You can see how there's a little dot here. You see that? There's a little dot here, right? And there's a little dot here. Can you see that? It's very hard to see. It's even kind of hard for me to see. But the normal thing is like has nothing there, right? But here I put little red. Do you see that? Little red dots there. So I can tell if I have in my hand, I can produce the sequence, right? They're mixed up. Okay, you can mix them up. But they're trust me, they're mixed up. But you can mix them up.
So it doesn't matter if they.
Or you can mix them up
if they don't cut it, like if they shuffle the fake or somehow else,
they can shuffle it. They can do whatever.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. So now once you've done that, now the problem with this method is it does take a little bit of looking to see how the things. But I'll just show you quickly how it should go. So this is the kind of tricky part with doing it this way, because to do it this way. Now, when you first saw me perform this, did you think I was reading the cards?
I kind of thought you were thinking about the story. Or...
Okay, yeah. That's perfect. Okay, so, but yeah, so now I've got the King of Spades, the Jack of Diamonds, the Eight of Clubs, the Ten of Spades, the King of Hearts. and the Jack of Clubs, the Seven of Spades, and the Ten of Hearts, the Diamond in the Rough, Ace of Diamonds, and the Four of Spades. Okay, so again, just using a sequence of little pencil marks, little pen marks, you can see it.
And I guess all the cards are marked in some way. So
All the 10 cards
Yeah,
are marked
okay.
in a way that you can, like, basically imagine writing the big number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
That's
I see. Yeah,
effectively what I've
okay.
done is I can read a sequence from the pencil dots. So imagine putting 1 dot on 2 dots and 3 dots and 4 dots. Okay, so however you want, whatever system of dots you want to put on the thing is essentially. I have a system of dots that I can figure out a sequence from 1 to 10. And that's basically all I've done here, so that the story unfolds in this way. Now, as you tell the story, this is about engaging a person telling a story, right? So it should be kind of having a flow of a narrative. And at the end, you're going to flip over, I printed this page out, you can write it out or whatever. But at the end, you just showed him a big, like I did, you just showed him a big sequence of cards. And I also wrote down the thing so you can see the names, like, I wrote out the decade Spade, Hector, King Henry, King Edward, Lancelot. I probably could have wrote Guinevere here. He had a ton of heart, and he went on a crusade for the Holy Grail, and a Diamond in the Rough. Like, you can write them out as well. I just read out a few of them. But be careful, though. Another warning as you do this. And when I was writing these down, one of these I didn't. Somehow the ink bled. You see here the ink accidentally bled on this card because I have them in a stack, so the Edward kind of accidentally the ink the Sharpie ink bled on the back of that, so I permanently scarred that card. But so those are two simple way to do it and a harder way to do it. But there are other ways to do this trick too. But I taught you also, more importantly, two tools, right? So one way to what's called false shuffle. So that method of shuffling but not really shuffling is a common tool used in Magic. Marking cards, of course, is also a common tool in Magic. So what's neat about Magic tricks and Magic performances, as I'm constantly thinking about Magic, it's a very cerebral thing, and it's very mentally engaging, right? So it took me about a week to think of some sort of story. It maybe not be the most cohesive story, but it took me some time to think of things that made sense. So but it's very easy to do, and I hope for how easy it is to do, I hope that you'll be able to perform something similar or something very something like it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'm Magic Ben. Thanks for watching the video, and check out some of my other Magic Ben videos. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.